Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, a very special one, as we've got Soma spawning here in the top right and Speed down in the bottom right. Now, to preface this video, I want to say that this is not 100% confirmed to be Soma. So if this turns out to be another player at a later date, I don't want anyone to get mad at me. Of course, can never prevent people from getting mad at you on the internet. It's just what happens when you make content. Kind of a part of the deal of making videos on YouTube is people will get mad at you, but I was so excited about this series, and yes, it is a series. I won't say how many games, but Speed versus Soma is a series that I've been looking forward to for a while. This was played on the 12th of January. We're hopping right on it immediately. See how these two players are facing up against each other. It looks like Speed gonna be opening the series with a CC first. That's 13 CC. Not even waiting for that 13th SCV to pop out. He's already dropped the CC. And what will he be following up with? Basically anything you do with the follow-up, because Soma's open with a 12 hatch. Anything you do is kind of unpunishable. You're gonna have more money, better income. Your macro is just so far ahead with that CC first that it doesn't really matter what your follow-up's gonna be. You're just gonna be in a good spot. That's the way it goes. That's why a lot of Zerg players recently are switching up their styles and throwing in 9 pools here and there just to try and punish some of these greedier builds like we've seen Speed do and Flash do especially. Flash has been throwing out CC first left and right and getting big wins over strong players, so it's definitely important for Zergs to drop a 9 pool every once in a while just to make sure that Terrans aren't doing that consistently. A factory follow-up. I am super interested to see if Speed wants to do mech after CC first, because that's what Flash has been doing. He's definitely been favoring the mech play after CC first, and he actually has shown multiple times double armory mech play where he goes directly into massive upgrades, gets +1/1 and then goes directly into 2/2 and has this insane early 2/2 timing with masses of tanks, and there's hardly anything that Zergs seem to be able to do to deal with that. A 1.5 hatch, or 2.5 hatch, excuse me, is going to be coming down for Soma. Needs those extra larvae to contest what's coming out of his opponent. He should see that there's no Marines being built at the bunker and throw down a sunken colony, but he hasn't done that yet. Which might... oh, he does manage to track down the SCV, though. There's that sunken colony. It's quite late, however. The Vulture's already on the map. It's heading across. He spots it with the Overlord. What will he do to block this? I'm gonna have to pull some drones to the ramp. He probably needs more drones than that on the ramp to stop it. Sunken colony. Halfway done. Gonna start to hit these drones. One will definitely go down, but in the end he will survive without taking too much damage. Gets a shot on that Vulture. Vulture going to run around, check for a third base, but he's not going to find it. Just one armory for Speed, but going directly into 3 factories. Is this going to be a 5 factory follow-up where he just builds a ton of Goliaths and tries to get a timing going, or what are we gonna see? Burrow is on the way. 2 Vultures trying to run by. 1 drone goes down, but a great block there by Soma, stopping everything from getting behind the mineral patches and getting even more damage. So so far so good. He's managed to pump out a lot of drones. He's going to be getting his third base online. He's blocked the run-bys with the vultures, and he's got his mutas out on the field. Doesn't have... Oh, he's got +1 air attack, which is usually not what you go for against mech. Generally, you're more likely to get armor. Armor is a little bit more useful against mech because you can use the Mutalisks to tank, and then Hydralisks are going to be the damage dealers, or Lings on the ground will be the damage dealers against early mech play. Quite a lot of Goliaths coming out. Still just 3 factories. Will he add another factory, or is it going to be a starport? That's going to decide the direction of the game for speed. Only a couple of SCVs ended up dying there, but he's moving out with this many Goliaths? That's kind of a shocker to me. I wouldn't expect that. It's only 7 Goliaths out on the map, and if he just pops some more mutas and makes like a batch of Lings, you can easily crush this. Small group of Lings will absolutely massacre in combination with this many mutas. Easy cleanup. So I'm glad that Speed is heading back home, though he might get caught on the retreat. Start to lose some of these Goliaths, and there's a bit of a momentum play when it comes to mech. You don't want to be losing a bunch of Goliaths here and there. You want to pull everything together, and try to attack in one massive ball, one massive clump. Brood Zerglings at the front of the natural are allowing him to see exactly when things are moving out, which is awesome. Double expansion in the top left-hand corner. More drones have popped out. He hasn't been able to transfer those where they need to be just yet. Still a fairly small group of Goliaths moving up to the north. He checks top center, doesn't see an expansion, but he will see the expansion over in top left. If he makes like 12 Lings, I think you easily run this over. 12 Lings with, 12 Mutalisks. He's definitely got that. The Lings on the ground just help to add in that DPS a little bit. Pretty much Lings are not the greatest against Goliaths, especially with armor. The Goliaths can stand against them pretty well. He's actually going to rely on sunken colonies instead, so he's waiting on these sunken colonies to finish. In the meantime, all the mutas are going to come in and take this trade. He kills off a few of the Goliaths, and we'll just back up. Now that the sunken colonies are finishing, he doesn't need to take this head on. No reason to fight that head on any longer. Goliaths moving over towards the natural. Uh-oh. Some of these are going to get caught. This is looking good for our Zerg. Soma clearing out a lot of these Goliaths early on. And like I said, this is more of a momentum play. If you start sandbagging these pushes and killing off a little bit of Goliaths here and there, then you never reach that critical mass. He's actually going to dive into the main now. Start to kill off some of these turrets. But it seems like Speed's not interested in stopping that. He wants to go straight across the map and hit this natural. More and more mutas are pumping out. Is +1 attack done? No, it's not. It's just on the way now. About halfway. And so is the armor upgrade for these Mutalisks. He's going to be able to dive on this. He's got to dive on the tanks before they break through the sunken colonies. They're going to start to add more sunken colonies on now, but the tanks are making their way to the front, sieging up as well. They start to hit these sunken colonies. He has to make the play sooner rather than later. Going to catch some Goliaths on the backside. This is excellent. Picking off some reinforcements, but everything's going to be brought to bear. And so now he's fighting against all the Goliaths. That's not really where you want to be. If you're going to be taking this fight, you've got to fight against all of the Goliaths at once. Here we go. He's gearing up. He's got all the Mutalisks together. Gonna take this fight right as the tanks start to hit the drones. That's quite a lot of Mutalisks, but there are so many Goliaths in this fight. Can he actually clear this out? A few Mutalisks trickling in from these hatcheries. And it seems like he may just barely be able to clean this. Yeah, he is going to track down the last few remaining Goliaths, but he needs to pull back now and start to kill these tanks. The tanks are ravaging his drone count. Get some more sunken colonies going, because this is not going to stop. There's no gas pedal, or there's no brake pedal for speed. There's only the gas. He has another command center over there at the third, but he doesn't have a starport. Okay, there's the starport. That's the transition point. Speed is going to try and move out of this kind of all-in mech style. Try to get into some further upgrades and expand out onto the map, but that's going to be tough. That is going to be quite tough. Look at more sunken colonies coming up. If he knew about this starport and the third base, he certainly wouldn't be doing this. He needs more drones, and he needs to get himself into a better economic position to fight the later Terran transition. He's actually going to have to switch into Hydralis and probably into Queens later on as well. Diving in on top of the turrets. That's a lot of turrets. Yeah, you don't want to fight that. He sees the starport. Now he knows. And in fact, he's already started muscular augments. So he's got Hydralis upgrades coming. We will be making that transition soon. Killing off some SCVs, but still 51. A pretty good number for speed. There it is. +1/+1 starts. I think this is an excellent transition from our Zerg player. Has very good overall drone count. Getting these bases operational both at the same time. More mutas are out. Another push is coming. You can't break through, though, these sunken lines with no tanks available. Speed is just going to kind of walk over here, maybe pick off a couple of overlords or something, and then walk away. I don't even think there's any overlords he can reach. Maybe this one being the only possibility for speed. Yeah, he's not really going to be able to push in right now. Just needs to back away. And so mutas are going to loop around. This might open up an opportunity to dive the main, right? If the Goliaths are out here and they can't counterattack because there's too many sunken colonies. I mean, this is not too many, but this is definitely too many. If they can't counterattack and the mutas go into the main, that could be big trouble for speed. Now going right into the natural, going to start to hit this reinforcement train. Unlikely that he'll come out and heal any of these. Okay, he actually is going to pull an SCV? No, he doesn't repair those Goliaths up. So that damage is probably going to be permanent. Diving on top of the science facility is sweet. Maybe he can kill this. Oh my gosh, it's going to be so close. Oh, he gets it. No way. He gets the upgrade there. And so there's not going to be an irradiate. And that means that these mutas are still going to be a menace to speed. He's also not going to be able to start +2 armor because he hasn't begun that yet. And I don't see another armory, actually. He's going to have to remake the science facility, restart that upgrade. At least he managed to pop out the science vessel and keep that alive. So that will be gaining energy. And once the upgrade's done, he's going to have a couple of irradiates ready. But that was really painful. He can't make another vessel just yet because he didn't have another one queued up. So he's just going to be sitting there defending against these mutas while Soma grows and grows and grows. He's got so much upgrades on the way. So many upgrades on the way right now. He's got a Queen's Nest coming up. He'll likely go into Queens as well. He's going to continue his upgrades along this path. He may even go into Hive so that he can get further Mutalisk upgrades as well, because he's just finishing up +2 now. Keeping those Mutalisk upgrades going is fantastic. It just gives you so many options in the late game for if your opponent starts relying heavily on tanks and stops producing as many Goliaths. You can make a big Mutalisk switch back in to those air units and just overwhelm the tanks, overwhelm the Goliaths, and take a pretty quick victory. There's 6 queens on the way. Broodling as well. Double expansion out of Soma. I gotta say, he's playing this beautifully. The snipe on the science facility was awesome. But just the way he's been moving and defending and responding to what Speed is doing has been absolutely perfect. Now he's gonna jump on top of these tanks before the Goliaths can come to assist. Unfortunate for Speed, he moved out of position, and that was all spotted by Soma. He's going to completely surround this kind of Pinner Goliath number. He's getting on top of all of this. They've got +2, but it's 1-1 Hydras fighting directly with these Goliaths. They've all been pushed back. He needed to cover the tanks properly with those Goliaths to allow them to get their damage and to take a good fight against these Hydras, but now he's taking a worse and worse fight. He's being pushed back. The science vessels are dying. The tanks are coming up. He may be able to save this base, but he's losing so many SCVs. Oh my goodness. Soma absolutely dominating in this game now, killing off so many SCVs, targeting down the few remaining SCVs at this base. There's only one that will end up surviving, and so many queens are out now. He's going to have an insane number of broodlings. He's going to be able to broodling every single tank and follow up with the Hydralisk push. These extra bases are going to come online soon, and Speed is just desperately trying to stay alive. He still has 52 workers, so he can spread those out amongst his bases. He is technically on 4 base economy, but he's not even making much right now. He's struggling to get that income going once again. A few siege tanks on high ground, but with all the queens and their energy getting close to that 150, Soma's just moments away from breaking one of these positions. I mean, one of these has to break. This is not very well defended. The natural doesn't have very much, and the third doesn't have very much either. So wherever he decides to go, any location is a decent location to attack into. The rallies are starting to come out for Speed, and he's growing in supply, but still 20 supply behind his opponent. It's not a good situation, and this base in the bottom left-hand corner has to be stopped by Speed. He cannot allow that to go up, or he is just going to lose this game. Jumping forward. Okay, good snipe there. Kills one of the queens before it can set off its broodling. Another one very low. That'll probably not be able to connect anytime soon. Still a lot of queens, though, at the natural. Oh my gosh, he's building even more queens. Getting into an insane amount. Getting drop, consume. 10 more drones. He's going to go up to 76 drones overall. He's got the parasite as well. He can see exactly where the army is and what it's doing. It's time to drive a wedge in between these bases and probably take out this one at the bottom center. A lot of queens coming forward. They've all been cloned. Okay, it looks like he's going to pull those back. Not wanting to lose any of these queens. He wants to get the perfect connections on these. There we go. Cloning these queens. Sending them out. EMP is about to be finished, which is a great counter to queen play, but at this point, is there any hope of a big EMP bringing Speed back into this game? I'd like to think so, but it's getting desperate. It's getting increasingly more desperate. Base down in the bottom left is going to start to add sunken colonies on the high ground, start to drag that creep over towards the ramp. Soma, nearly max, now has an insane number of queens. He's got like 20, 25 queens at this point. More queens on the map than there are tanks, that's for sure. He's just scouting around, looking for an opportunity to start sniping down some of these tanks. You can see he doesn't have great vision at the moment. He's looking for it with that Overlord. Trying to find a vision on the back of this tank line. Gonna cast a couple of parasites on it. One of the... Okay, he hit the same one with both those parasites. So parasite detected. We can now see everything. Unlikely that he'll kill his own science vessel just to get rid of that. He is going to send it in. Okay. Wait, I thought he was going to send that in just to die. I guess he'll cast one up or cast one spell and then send that back home so that he can't get the vision on that. Here we go. This is a massive fight. Hydra's coming in from kind of a wide angle, but this group over here is pretty tight. A lot of those Hydras are going to go down, just being splashed by the tanks. Some Broodlings did go off, but not the greatest Broodlings. Some Dark Swarm coming down as well. Going to slow this force a little bit. But tanks still do pretty well against Hydras under Dark Swarm. Some more consumes going down as he eats up a few of those Lings. Does he have Plague to drop on a bunch of these Goliaths? That would make things a lot easier to hold. Speed pushing up in towards the top left. Into what may be his graveyard. The graveyard for all of his mech units. Likely to get surrounded from this side, and Defilers are behind this. So as soon as the tanks die, yeah, once the Broodlings get off and the tanks die, then what are you gonna do against Dark Swarm? I really don't think there's much of a play against that. Pushing in towards top left. Soma's struggling a little bit to get everything together. He hasn't pulled his army away. He's gonna go ahead and take on this fight, but his Hydras are getting really grouped up. A lot of them dying to that splash damage, and Speed is actually gonna get up here onto this high ground. Wow, this is getting a little bit dicey for the Zerg player. He still has a supply advantage, and he's still got a lot of queens to go around. He doesn't have a Nidus though over in top left, so he can't hop Hydras through and help this base. He's gonna have to fight up high ground against tanks and Goliaths. That's not a good situation. Okay, some queens are gonna come forward though. Casting Broodling on this will be fantastic. Okay, I don't know why he didn't cast Broodling on a tank there, but he's not going to. SCV's coming down to bottom left. As the army gets cleaned up, Speed types GG. Wow, he gives up. A little bit surprised about that. I think just seeing this base in bottom left already being done was the nail in the coffin. He just decided, you know what, it's not worth it. I'm not going to be able to get this base down in bottom left. I've lost too much. I think if he just keeps sending army out and harassing bases and then tries to secure bottom left, maybe there was a shot in this game for Speed, but it was a long shot regardless. Things got a little chaotic there at the end, but not enough chaos to be able to climb the steep hill that was Soma's advantage in this game. So Soma takes game number 1. Speed losing with a CC first going into mech. That is a bit of a shocker. I'm sure it's a shock to Speed's system as well. I wonder if he'll continue to play mech or if he's going to switch it up into bio play. Let's go find out. Okay, game number 2, Speed once again in the bottom right. Soma once again in the top right. However, this is a different map. This time, rather than Radeon, we'll be playing on Pantheon. Same, but different. Another CC first, possibly. We're not sure just yet. Let's set up a supply depot there at the front. We'll be waiting on that 150 minerals. See if he drops a barracks there, because looks like Soma has realized that he likes CC first. He doesn't want to play against it again, so getting a quick win with a 9 pool. This is what you have to do. This is, as a Zerg player, you have to play like this. You have to check the Terran. Make sure that they're being honest. A barracks. No CC first. So he's going to have the wall. He's going to have the barracks behind the wall. He should be fine. There's only one gap. As long as he brings an SCV and blocks that hole, he'll have, you know, 1 or 2 Marines behind this wall in time to defend this push or defend this first group of Lings. He's going to make 6. Most likely. 6 Lings are going to be on the way, but he won't be able to do any damage. And this is this is just the plight of Zerg in 2025. The way that she goes, boys. You have to make Lings sometimes. You have to make A 9 pool occasionally. Otherwise, the Terran will always go for CC first. But if they go for a normal build, like we're seeing out of Speed, you are just going to be behind. These 6-lings will do nothing. Maybe, oh gosh, the Marine is popping out on the wrong side. He's got to move it over. Bit of a mistake there from Speed. He has to lift and move. Good thing he lifted and moved in time. He's got the 1 Marine there. With 3 lings blocking, he can just repair. Oh, he managed to kill the 1 SCV. Can the lings get by? Oh, he gets another SCV. He's gonna get on top of the Marine now. The Marine is going to die. Ooh, there's the 1 ling getting passed into the main. So he killed 2 SCVs and 1 Marine for 6 lings. Not the worst in the world. The worst thing would be if the lings just sat out in front of the wall. Actually, that's not the worst thing. The worst thing would be if he tried to attack the wall and the repair was good, and then the Marines just killed all the lings. That would be the worst. Second worst, I think, would be if you just sit out in front of the wall, you don't deal any damage, and the Terran player just gets to make the CC for free, and you can't even, and all you can do is just make it so you can't move out with these early naked Marines. But he kind of went down the middle of the road there. Soma got some damage. He's making more lings actually behind this. He's seen, or he didn't see this actually. He doesn't see this. He can't see the barracks. So that was sneaky play by Speed to lift the barracks to get those Marines out on the map. But unfortunately for him, Soma, he knows the tendencies of Terran in this type of situation. He knows Speed, and he reacts accordingly. Adds some more lings. If he had made those lings and Speed had just been sitting here behind the wall, I would almost go so far as to say that Soma would just be dead at that point. He would be so far behind. I mean, such a bad position. It would be brutal. Absolutely brutal. But he kills 3 Marines. And now he can make some drones and get himself into this spire. Now, Speed doesn't really have a good move out timing. He's gone for the 2 racks Academy. And so he may be able to move out around 5 minutes 50, 5 minute 30, something like that. You can see the medics are on the way. Doesn't have a lot of Marines though, just the 7 Marines. I don't think he wants to push out, but he might try to bait a sunken colony to be made. I don't think he can come across the map though. Especially not with 5 lings that can counterattack. Start some more Marines behind this. Yeah, I doubt he'll move at all. Otherwise, he would start some fire bats to clog this wall. And so he's just gonna sit. He scans the natural, sees no sunken colony. Tries to move out a little bit, try to push these lings back, but great response from Soma, not gonna lose anything. Has mutas on the way, has a good enough amount of drones that the natural that he can afford this 3rd base, and so he will go ahead and take that. +1 attack on the way. Somebody gonna come across and start to do some harassment. But this has to get some damage. Have to get in there and do something with these mutas. And so he will bring them all together. Wait for this group to grow a little bit larger. No turrets over the main base, by the way. Absolutely none. Hasn't built even a single one yet. There's the first turret being started. So if he flies into the main with these 5 mutas, he could absolutely deny that turret. But instead, he's going to pick away at the Marines at the front. He's waiting for more reinforcements. Triple turret over the barracks. Nothing. Aside from this 1 turret. 2nd turret being added. Speed doing a very smart addition of these turrets. Realizing that Soma's unlikely to fly all the way past the natural and all the way down into this corner in order to start his harassment. Oh, bit of a misclick there from Soma. Will kill the turret in the end, but definitely taking more damage than he needed to. Another misclick there. This is not going too well for him so far. He's almost lost a Muta. He managed to keep it alive in the end. Another misclick there. That was 3 in a row. Diving into the natural. Gonna pick off a couple of Marines, actually. Gets a pretty good chunk of Marines, actually, in the end. Definitely reasonable for just a few Lings. And so the Mutas are going to come back in towards this barracks area. The factory is already done, though. Hydralisk Den on the way as the first starport comes up. Second starport will follow. The transition is underway for Speed, and he hasn't taken any damage. Remember what I was saying earlier? Kind of has to kill some SCVs here. Kind of has to deal some damage. He's only picked away at a couple of turrets. Lost Mutalis and killed a few Marines, so not the greatest Mutalis play so far from this player. But now that he's in the pocket, in this corner, and he's killed the one turret that's covering this area, he should be able to get quite a few SCVs. Already he's killed about 4 or 5. Soma, or Speed is actually trying to surround this the best that he can, coming in from multiple angles. Soma has a escape path, though, from the north. Really good control here overall from Soma, killing off a lot of stuff. He's getting so much damage with this, actually. Oh my goodness, so many Marines have gone down. These Mutas are going to retreat back into the pocket again. Another 2 medics go down. Oh my gosh, Soma really making up for his earlier blunders with the Mutalis. He will fly out now, and he loses the majority of these. But man, has he done a lot of work with those Mutas. And the Hydras are coming across the map as well. Looks like he's going to morph some back at home. Marine number has been reduced dramatically. Think about how many Marines there were before, and now look at this pinner little force that he has remaining. 2 sets of Scourge are going to be made. Try to come out and snipe this Valkyrie if he can. But back at home, he's making lurkers. Or he will be soon. 2 lurkers on the way. I'm not sure exactly where those are, actually. Oh, there they are. Over here at the natural. So 2 lurkers on the way. Some more sunken colonies. We've got Hive coming. I'm really liking this position for Soma now. He's evened up the worker count by a lot. Just that dive into the main was so well done. The way that he was kind of hiding from the Marines and forcing them to come through these tight little chokes was just fantastic. Now, this is still a scary push from Speed. He's still coming across the map with quite a bit of bio and 2 Valkyries, which can be scary, but he's got to be careful. He can't, move in willy-nilly and, maybe run into some hold position lurkers. I guess he's scanned enough to where Soma does need to retreat back to the sunken colony, but with all the lurkers coming up there, he should be fine. Loses a couple of overlords, but he's going to dive into the main once again. Not enough turrets in this location, so he can just force away the SCVs immediately from this base. Start to kill off potentially the armory, maybe go after some supply depots in there. He's gonna force Speed all the way back home. So Speed really didn't get the kind of damage that he was looking for, right? He wanted to aggress into one of these bases, like maybe take out the natural or go for the 3rd base, but as soon as he gets out on the map, he realizes, well, that's probably not going to be possible. We've already got a whole bunch of lurkers at each base, and Soma runs up to the natural. He sees the bunkers, but he also sees those 2 dropships, which is pretty important information. There's definitely going to be drops going into either the main or the 3rd base. The Valkyrie number is going to help to screen for those, but they might just get picked off right now. Oh gosh, a lot of those go down. The Valkyries, for the most part, fall. And now there is a pretty good chance of defending this. He's going to hit the 3rd. Spots the dropship there with the Overlord. That's only 1 dropship. He must be kind of suspicious. Where's that other dropship? Here it is, unloading at the 3rd base now. Pulling the drones away. There's only one lurker over here. Oh my god. He scans. He kills the lurker. The Nidus is super late for Soma. Is he going to lose his third base? That would be incredibly painful. This is pure Marine. Only Marines in this. It's like Speed just knew that this is the force that he needed to take out this hatchery, and he kills it. He gets the hatchery just barely in time. My goodness. And a drop over here at the natural as well at the same time. The mutas miss that dropship, and he loses a bunch of drone speed. He's doing it. He's actually doing it, even though things were looking so brutal for Speed. He somehow manages to pull this one out. Somehow manages to get that damage done. Now, the counterattack is scary. There's only one bunker full of units. The lurkers are gonna siege up at the front. Oh, bullet back. There it does. He does get it out of there. Lurker's got to run back to this high ground. Burrow on the high ground. He's going to get one big shot off. Great split there from Speed, and he will gun down one of those lurkers. That was amazingly well done. Oh, what the? The Defiler died? Oh my god, what? And Consume just started. No, oh my gosh. Soma making some serious mistakes in this game, man. This has not gone to plan. Some lurkers are gonna head around the top side, try to reinforce this one lurker on high ground. The Firebat's coming out to try and assist. The lurkers don't quite make it up on the high ground, but they can still hit their spines over the wall. Doesn't matter. Unfortunately, though, not lining up those Marines properly, and a drop could come in again. Oh, wait, this drop doesn't have anything inside of it. There's a Defiler coming up. Another Defiler coming from a different angle. Lurker gets onto the high ground, but it's just going to get killed. This Defiler going to get run down by the Marines. It dies. Oh my gosh, things are falling apart for Soma. Can he slip by? Can he slip by? Oh, I think he's just barely going to slip by over towards this natural. Running past. Speed is going to get a counterattack going. A bunch of sunken colonies are being made. Emergency sunken colonies at the natural are being made while this Defiler push comes in towards Speed's natural. He's got to consume. Get a few more Dark Swarms down, because pretty soon there's going to be a Radiate to deal with this. A Radiate comes down. The Dark Swarm will go down over at this natural. Lurkers run forward. Still, all the lurkers are left alive. One of the Defilers goes down actually to the Irradiate, and he's gonna run up as close as he can into this natural, but he's not even got his third base reformed yet. That third base is still underway, and the emergency sunken colonies maybe gonna defend him for now, but again, he could just pick up and drop into the main base. Not if Soma catches that, though. SCVs are going down at this natural. There's still enough Irradiates potentially to clean this up, but he's losing a lot. And he may even lose a science vessel over at this base. Yeah, he is going to lose one of those science vessels for sure. The drop going to come into the base. A little bit of a mini game here as Soma tries to save this. This is an insane game, guys. Absolutely insane. But I think that Speed can stabilize. He just needs a few more Radiates, and he's got a lot of vessels to work with. He's still been producing off of two starports, so he should be able to get this together. Running out now with the Marines. He's a little bit impatient. He loses some medics and Marines to get that done, but he gets out. He will be able to save some of these SCVs and get this going once again. Oh, losing some Scourge there as well. That's super painful. Not able to connect with any of these vessels. He really needs to kill off some more vessels there. Dropship heading over to the top left. Doesn't have anything in it. Finally, the third gas is once again online, but it's hard to produce anything at a time like this. Soma making plague at this intense moment. Will he be able to get that operational? Lurker is trying to respond to this empty dropship. Just gonna go ahead and scout the base. Oh, this game would have been so different if Soma just had that Nidus Canal connected a little bit earlier on, but unfortunately, he did not have that ready in time, and now Speed is looking fantastic. He's going to be pushing up with an insane number of Firebats. Look at all the Firebats in this army. He's got more than 12 Firebats in this fighting force. Go ahead and irradiate that one Muta. No Lurkers popping through. One lurker and GG is called. Oh my goodness. What a game number 2. Speed barely managing to clutch this one out. It was looking scary as the Dark Swarm push was coming, but the fact that he was able to kill this base, the 3rd base, with just pure Marines and a dropship, that fighting force, that's like the Special Forces, that UMS map. And the Marine Special Forces drop out and kill that one hatchery. Critical damage to the Zerg player, allowing Speed to win this game after losing so much in this main. I really thought that Soma was going to be able to end this one. He was going to be able to finish this guy off, but the drops proved super effective, as they usually do with games, including Speed. So many firebats. I can't get over how many firebats he made, really realizing his position and that it was going to require, you know, Defiler Ling defense to hold back all of these bioforces. Just going into the firebats is a great choice, and Speed takes game number 2. Let's go see what happens in the next one. I am so excited for this next match, guys. Let's go. Going into game number 3, it's so funny for me to watch pro players make big mistakes like we saw in that last game. Watching the Defiler walk into bunker range and die it's so hilarious for me to see that type of thing happen, because those are the type of mistakes where they happen in your games or in my games, and I look at that and I go, oh my gosh, it's so embarrassing, it's so annoying, I can't believe that happened. That would never happen to a pro player, but this happens to everybody. These type of mistakes happen to everybody when your heart is pumping, when you're very close to a win and things are going crazy and everything is up in the air. You're not sure if you're gonna win or not. Mistakes definitely do happen. Now, Soma, this game, he's gonna open up with a hatchery on 12. His opponent's Speed getting into a 1-Rax expansion. So finally, we're going to have an even opener, right? Both the first 2 openers were very Speed favored. In the end of at the end of the opener for game number 2, Soma did manage to get a little bit of damage with his Lings, but it's just a bad spot to be going 9 pool versus a wall. A very bad spot indeed. And the 13 CC opener, it just never feels good to go 12 hatch against that. So both times having a little bit of trouble with the opener. This time it's going to be even. Got the 12 hatch, we've got the 1-Rax fax expand, but a very early gas out of Speed. I think he's going to go for a Valkyrie play. Valkyrie play makes sense. This is a very tough map to defend Mutalisk on. You've got this big open area in the back of your base that the Zerg player can abuse. You kind of have to build turrets on this side and maybe on this side while building your barracks over here. It's just not an easy place to defend by any means. This is super harassable from inside the base, and then this is super harassable with the high ground over top of it. It's not great to try and defend against Mutalisk on this map. So he's going to try to mitigate that just a little bit by going ahead and mixing up the build a bit. Try to go for a Valkyrie play this time. Funny little ring around the rosy we're seeing in this base. It's not really anything too impactful. The Marine usually will come across the map and just force the first drone away from the natural and then run on back home without actually getting any kills. But he greeted for the kill there, and he loses the SCV and the Marine. It's not super impactful, but it is a bit annoying there for Speed. That he lost both of those 2 things right off the bat. Now, without even scouting at all, only seeing the wall in, he's already added a sunken colony. Speed, it might be getting figured out here by Soma a little bit. Starting to realize what the type of player he is. coming up to the front. He only sees 3 Marines behind this wall, and I think his suspicion has been confirmed. A starport gonna follow up. That's that 111. You should see an armory in a second. Supply depot for now. Armory gonna be coming up here soon. I think he's gonna go for speed and 3 vultures and try to run by. I believe that's gonna be the play from speed. If he figures this out, I don't know how he would, how the Zerg player would, but if he figures it out, the best way to deal with this is to block. Just build a bunch of buildings in the front, throw down an extra hatchery, maybe an evolution chamber or 2, and just block this out. There's also the possibility that this could be a drop as well. He might go into a dropship and then into Valkyrie. Definitely gonna make Valkyries though, with that armory on the way. It just depends on what he feels, if he's gonna be able to get the Valkyries out in time. Or, you know, if he makes the dropship, will he still be able to get the Valkyries out in time? That's a little bit of a struggle. He's trying to push back the Marine, or the Lings here with the Marines so that he can slip these vultures out without him noticing. He's actually not going to start a dropship, so I guess it's just going to be straight into Valkyrie as soon as he's got the money for that. He's actually got the money now, but he's super focused on getting rid of these Lings so that the vultures can slip out undetected. They will get out on the map, but will they be able to slip by? 7 mutas are on the way. He's going to go around the long way, hoping that the mutas will actually head towards his main. And as soon as the mutalisks arrive at his main, he's going to try and run by. But look at this. Soma has a hatchery being built. He's going to make, is he going to make it? Going to make an evolution chamber here. Beautiful. There's a Hydralisk den. Does the exact same thing. The perfect wall there. As the mutalisks go across, you're going to see these vultures come running into the natural, and they're going to get completely denied. Maybe they can slip. No, they can't slip by there. I take it back. That is a perfect wall. That is a perfect wall. I assume is not going to be able to do any damage with these vultures. Valkyrie on the backside. It is defending well. Not going to allow these mutas to do much damage. And there it is. Gets completely blocked out. Nothing he can do over at this natural. Aside from run around and maybe pick off a drone over at that 3rd base. That is a possibility. A few more SCVs are going to go down. Killing off as much as he can with these mutalisks before transitioning. Realizing that these are not going to do too much as the Valkyrie number climbs. It is just going to get rid of those mutas and try to move on to the next stages of this game. Armor is on the way, so he can still make mutas a little bit later if he needs to. But I imagine the transition... Oh, vehicle upgrades on the way. He's going to switch into mech from here. Interesting. So mech play going to come out of speed. Now you need to get in here and find out about this. Very important that Zerg gets in and sees the second factory. You need to know what your opponent is up to. You can see he's building lurker, or starting lurker aspect, and getting ready for a transition into Marines, right? If Marines are coming out, you definitely need lurker. But if mech is coming out, you're much more liable to grab another base and try to go into more Hydralisk. Hydralisk play is going to be far more, a much better idea. You're definitely not going to go into Queen's Nest this early if you know that it's mech. So this is a bit of a problem. He doesn't know. He has no idea of what Speed's plan is. He's going to be a little bit surprised to see a bunch of Goliaths pop out. And possibly tanks start to be made by Speed. So hopefully he's going to dive in here, maybe with a couple of Scourge. Just send 2 Scourge in. All right, here he goes. He's going to come in. Will he see the second factory? Where is it? He sees at least engineering bay is not making an upgrade. That's important. If the engineering bay is not making an upgrade, what are you exactly doing as Speed? Like, it's pretty clear that you're not making Marines at that point. A few kills go down over at this 3rd base. Some good harassment there. One sunken colony won't be able to stop that, or at least it'll take some time. Time that he can just be killing drones. Now, another drone round makes its way over towards that 3rd. Doesn't seem like Speed's in a position to deny that. I don't see a fourth base yet. I think he's still been tricked. I think he doesn't know. Well, he is going to get muscular augments, so that's important. Maybe he can defend with Lurker and Defiler for a little bit while switching into more of a macro play and getting into, you know, mass Hydralisk and dealing with this mech player. Yeah, 2 more factories on the way. Okay, he flies back in. This should be the confirm. He sees, again, Engineering Bay is not building anything, and he sees 2 more factories. Now he knows for sure. Now he is completely aware. Oh, does get 2 Valkyries there. Oh my goodness. Double Valkyrie kill. Soma's so good with the mutas and Scourge, and it seemed like Speed was doing a good job microing those Valkyries as well. He got the moving shot. He got the slide shot. But yeah, immediately gonna grab this 4th base. You need that 4th as soon as you see that mech is coming. He hasn't seen the 3rd of Speed though, which is a bit of a problem. Not knowing that Speed's taken a 3rd already and hasn't harassed that at all means that Speed is he's got the turrets up. He's got the Goliath and Valkyrie there. You're not gonna be able to break that. That's not gonna happen. And so another base will come up for Soma over in this top left, but it's not a high ground base. This is a pretty attackable base for Speed. A lot of Goliaths there. He tries to go for the Valkyrie. Great pull away by Speed. Keeping that Valkyrie alive. Oh, he gets it to shoot. He got the Valkyrie to shoot. As soon as the Valkyrie shoots, it can no longer be microed, so he manages to snipe that down. Getting a couple of kills on some... Oh, he's going after the tank as well. Oh, I'm gonna sacrifice some mutas to get that tank. He does get the 1 tank. That is important. And will Rotator over here to start hitting some SCVs. Getting quite a few kills, actually. Pretty decent control with these mutas. Getting some good value out of these units that are not going to be too useful later on. Does that right before +2 Carapace comes online. Actually, I'll check that. Make sure. Yeah, there it is. It's just about online. He's got the double evolution chamber. So he's going to have 1-1 around the same time as 2-1 finishes for Speed. He should have a Defiler as well. Okay, he doesn't have a Defiler. He's got the Queen's Nest, and he's not really making anything with that Queen's Nest. So you can see that really Soma didn't understand what was going on for quite a bit of time. He wasn't aware that the mech switch was coming. The reason why he got that Queen's Nest and the hive so early was because he thought this was going to be a marine play. Kills his own sunken colony so he can get out of his base a little bit easier. That 1 Hydra. He's going to be stuck there for a while. Okay, he does unstick himself. There's the pull. As the vessel does its job, forcing these mutalisks back a little bit. Some vultures are going to come up and spot this extra base, that 5th base that's starting to come online for Soma. Going to be contested for a little bit. Still doesn't have Overlord speed, so could end up losing some Hydras to these mines. Hatchery will not go down, that's for sure, but Hydras could end up dying a little bit. A few of them could end up going down. Oh my gosh. Okay, there we go. Just managed to clean those out. Mech army moving up towards the north. That's going to be spotted by Soma. He sees it with the Mutalisk, but he can't really do anything about it. Hydras are going to come over to this high ground. Is he ready to take this fight? Gotta pull all of the Hydras together. Doesn't want to take the fight before 1-1 is done. They're so close, these upgrades, to finishing. 2-1 is already there for this mech army. He's gonna catch a tank in the middle of the map. This is a great pick. Tank goes down. Bunch of Goliaths are gonna fall as well. The mutas are diving right on top of that tank. Can he actually kill that? Looks like he will get it. Oh, the 1 irradiate is gonna be super annoying. Does lose the majority of his mutas. In fact, all but 1 end up going down there. Great mine connection. Unfortunate there for Soma. Oh, that was really close. Brutal mine connection. One of those mines can actually end your game. If you pull back like that and the mine goes right into the middle of your Hydras, you can lose like 6 Hydras to a single mine. It is disgusting how much damage you can get done with those units. Those free units, by the way. Pushing over towards the top center. He knows that if he can hit this top center, and Soma has to throw his whole army away to deal with this attack, then he can easily clean this up as well. More sunken colonies coming up on high ground, but Hydra number is lacking a bit. He's gonna hit this from behind. Moving with a wide arc of Hydras. He's building queens right now. There's quite a few queens, but they're not ready with the broodlings to contest this. He will get the one tank for free at the back. That tank going down for free is pretty big. There's only one tank left in this fight. Pulls the Hydraless out. That has been irradiated. Another irradiated Hydra. But it looks like he's going to clear out everything. Great surround by Soma. And Speed not pulling the tank onto high ground. He's going to regret that. Now Soma can re-drone. He has Ventral Sacs on the way as well. He hasn't started +2/+2 though. That's a bit unfortunate. He really needs to get this going. There it is. He will start it now that he's cleaned up everything. Killed that army of Terran. He will start those upgrades. Really important that he gets those going. Another base coming up for Speed. And another base over the top left. Soma, he can't really worry about those bases just yet. He has to focus on getting these drones where they need to be. Getting as many drones out as he can. Get back up to 60 drones and get them mining. He's waiting on Queen energy before he can really break any kind of base. Just attacking into this though would be, you know, he would get a lot of kills, I think. Oh gosh. Vulture's coming up on the high ground. He's probably going to reset a lot of this droning that Soma's been doing. Peeling off at least 4 or 5 drones, and Speed is getting away with murder by taking this base in top left. That base should not be allowed to stand. That is for sure. EMP on the way. Getting that online a lot faster this time, but I think we're going to be setting up for a big drop potentially into the main. He doesn't have anything in these overlords just yet. I think he's gonna load up here pretty soon and look to get that drop going. Look to deal some damage in the main base. And I've always said that drops against mech are insanely good if you can combine them with queens. Combining drops with queens is like the forbidden tech. It's so good. But so few players actually end up doing it. So few Zerg players end up utilizing that. You come in, you drop everything, and then you bring the queens to here. As the tanks come back to help clear out the drop, you come in and you just brutaling everything. And the tank, every tank that comes back to help inside the main just gets brutaling immediately. It's so good. It is so good. Oh, Vulture's running by into the natural. He's gonna get a bunch of kills on a lot of these drones. Drones going down en masse at the same time. Drop coming into this main base. These overlords have +2 carapace. The +2 carapace is going to allow them to stay alive for quite a long time against these missile turrets. This Vulture harassment has done so much damage, and the Hydras are just not dealing with it properly. Where are the queens? I wish you would bring the queens up to help this. It really truly is the forbidden tech. Oh, there it is. He's bringing it in. Here we go. All the queens get their broodlings off. He's gonna get rid of all these tanks, and the Hydras will stay. Oh, an EMP goes down. He hits some of those queens with the EMP. The rest will get their broodling off, but there's still one queen or one tank remaining that's just cleaning up a lot of these Hydralists. Great EMP there, pushing back these queens. Not getting the damage that he was looking for. But he clears out a lot of the turrets and opens up the option for further drops into that main base. And in fact, he's ready to continue this drop play. Not a lot of queens though on the field anymore for Soma. So maybe there's an opportunity for Speed to just go with this army. Here comes that drop once again. He's going to make this a very awkward game for Speed by attacking into this base and dropping into the main at the same time. Here we go. The drop met by 2 and 3 tanks popping out at the same time. So unfortunately, this is probably not going to get nearly as much damage as he was hoping. EMP on all of these queens. Sitting at the rally point. The push is looking very strong. Very strong indeed. Pushing directly into that natural. He's going to get the 2 Niduscanel's right off the bat. He's killing a lot of overlords as well. The drop in the main is doing a lot, but there are quite a few tanks ready to deal with this, so I don't think it's gonna do critical damage in the main base, and it will be cleaned up relatively soon. 178 supply to 100. +2/+2 did finish on the Hydralisk. So before those evolution chambers go down, a Hydralisk den will come up in the top left. He's gonna try and play Refugee Zerg as he shuts down bases around the map. Going after some of these tanks at the rally point. Looks like he's gonna get that tank. The tank should be targeted. Let's get that down. More Hydras are coming as well, but GG is called. Soma taps out. He's not going to be able to overwhelm at the natural. Ooh, those mines killing the last remaining Hydras. And Soma, I mean, he tried, man. He really did. Speed. His push timing was good. He hid his tech well. Really do need to see that extra factory as soon as it starts. He makes that decision, but it's tough to find that. You kind of got to send one Mutalisk in just to confirm what's going on, so you can make your correct tech choice, right? He decided to put down the Queen's Nest and start Lurker before sending anything into check, and so he went pretty far down the tech path before realizing what actually was coming out of speed. The drop into the main with the queens, I mean, you'll love to see it, but the EMP was really clutch. Speed pulling that out at the perfect moment, just getting rid of that queen energy and saving his main base, leaving some tanks in here as well. It helps out so much for those drops, and I feel a little bit sad that Soma didn't do better with those, that he didn't get more damage with those drops and bring this into a later game, because I really feel like that type of play is not utilized nearly enough. And we can see maybe why is that Terran players are very good at dealing with attacks, or at least at the highest level. At my level, Terran players absolutely crumble when you do this. You drop a whole bunch of Hydras into the main, and then as the tanks are coming down the ramp, you fly in with the broodlings and just broodling everything. All the tanks that are coming down into the main just get owned, and then it's just pure Goliath trying to walk in between the buildings and your Hydras are standing there in a big arc just killing everything. It's amazing. It's beautiful, that forbidden tank. Anyways, guys, that's it for this game, and that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.